Today we're going to look at how to complete a measure with rests. We're going to complete one exercise from each line together, and then you can complete the rest independently. So there's a few things that you should review before jumping into completing measures with rests. So the first thing that you need to know is the rules for grouping notes for your different time signatures. So if we are in common time, also known as 4/4, we're going to start off by translating that into practical terms. So 4/4 notes, we'll draw that out. So that's basically the equivalent number of beats that we need in each measure. Now, in that time, our pattern for strong and weak beats is strong, weak, medium, weak. So strong can pick up anything, medium can pick up weak, but weak cannot pick up anything. It can't even pick up another weak. So there's kind of like an invisible line that divides 4/4 time. You can't create a rest that goes across the invisible line. So that's the first rule. The second rule is you always want to complete an incomplete beat before you do anything else. So for example, if you just had, say, a 16th note in the measure and nothing else, the first thing you would need to do is make that 16th note into a full beat. So we would need a 16th rest, which together forms the equivalent of an 8th note. And by the way, showing your work like this is really, really important. If you don't, it's so easy to make mistakes. Oops. Then we still have half a beat, so we need to complete that beat. So now we've got an 8th rest that we've added, and together 2 8th notes make a quarter note. So finally we have a full beat in 4/4 time. Now, so that is beat 1. Now we need beat 2. Now you might be tempted to go, okay, well, we have 3 beats left. Why don't I just combine them into, say, a dotted half rest? Problem is that this is your strong beat, and then we've got a weak, medium, weak. We can't join the weak and medium together. They have to be separate. So instead of doing that, we're going to do the weak beat. So that's going to be our quarter rest. Now the meek and the medium can be joined, and we can make a half rest for that. All right, so that kind of gives you an idea of basically how you want to approach it. So first of all, write it out, whatever time signature it is, figure out the strong, weak, mediums beats. Look for incomplete beats. If there are none, great, that makes your job really easy. If there are, you need to complete them. Then use the strong, weak, medium, weak patterns in order to complete the rest of the measure. So this first measure here, it's a dotted half note, and it's only got, so that's 3 beats. That's going to be our strong, weak, medium. We have 1 more beat left. That's our weak beat, and that's easy. We just need to do a quarter rest. So a lot of these exercises are going to be a little bit easier than the one I just demonstrated, but that's why I wanted to show you just in case there's a couple like that. Okay, so now in 3/4 time, again, start off by translating what that means. Again, it may not seem too easy when you're doing simple time signatures like this that you're used to, but when you get into compound and, you know, bigger time signatures like 9, 16, it can get kind of confusing. So always write it out first and then write out your strong and weak patterns. Okay, so for 3/4 time, that's strong, weak, weak. And it looks like right here, in the first one, we've got a weak beat. So that means that we need the strong and the weak to finish it off. We can combine those two because strong can pick up weak, so we can use a half rest, and that measure is complete. Okay, this one looks a little more interesting. This is cut time, also known as 2/2. 2/2 means 2 half notes. Remember, it's always like a fraction. So the bottom number is basically a fraction. So 2 half. And that's just going to be strong, weak. All right. So we start off with only a 16th note. So that's definitely not a complete beat. So we need to complete the beat. So we've got another 16th rest to turn that into basically an 8th note. That's still only a quarter of a beat in this time signature. So now we need another rest, we need an eighth rest. So now we've got 2 eighth notes, put them together, they create a quarter note, still not a complete beat, however. So now we need our quarter rest. Okay, so now finally these two together, they create a complete beat. So that is our strong beat right there. Notice how I always started with trying to complete the beat before. So I'm not going to combine all of these guys into a single rest. Always do it one step at a time. So always complete, this and then this half and then this half. So strong is complete. Now we need weak. Now the weak beat is just going to be a half rest because remember we're in half notes for this time signature. Okay, last one, 6/8 time. So this one, I feel like maybe I should pick the last one to do with you because again, that's going to be probably the hardest one. So in 6/8 time, we've got 6 eighth notes, and remember that they are always grouped in threes like this. So we've got strong, and then this one's the medium. So these ones, compound time signatures do work a little bit differently than simple. We've got strong, weak, weak, medium, weak, weak. And again, just like in 4/4 time, we've got that invisible line. So we can't cross this. Weak cannot pick up medium. Okay, so if we're going to start with this last one here, we've started off with a 16th note, which is not a complete beat in 6/8 time. That's half of a beat. So we need to start off with making a 16th rest. Now that joint together creates an eighth note, which is a complete beat. So now that is our strong. And then we've got 2 weaks that we need to make. Now, because they're both weak, weak is so weak it can't even pick up another weak. So that means we need 2 eighth rests. We cannot combine them into a quarter rest. So now our first big beat of 6/8 time is complete. Now we're ready for the second half, and that is our medium, weak, weak. Now, because there's nothing here, we can just combine all of these together because the medium can pick up all 3. Like that. And you're probably wondering, why can the weak suddenly pick up the weak? It's because the medium is before them. So the medium is strong enough to pick up both in this time signature. So that's stuff that you probably haven't encountered before. So hopefully this helps. Okay, so I'm going to erase all that, and you can go ahead and finish the worksheet.